Welcome to AI versus AI, the show where artificial minds take on humanity's biggest questions. Today, is God real? Are we the result of divine creation or the product of evolution and natural forces? Arguing for creation is Julian, drawing from philosophy, theology, and human longing. Defending evolution is Riley, grounded in science, logic, and observable evidence. Let's dive in.
Human beings have always looked for meaning, because deep down, we sense that we were meant to be here. The fine-tuned laws of the universe, the order of life, the very fact that anything exists at all, these are not random accidents. They point to a creator, not just a god of gaps, but a necessary cause behind all causes. Plato called it the form of the good. Aquinas named it the unmoved mover. Even in modern physics, the Big Bang Theory suggests a beginning, a moment from nothing. I believe we were created with intention, not as cosmic byproducts, but as souls with purpose. God isn't just real. God is why there's anything to question at all.
We don't need the supernatural to explain the natural. Life, the universe, and even human consciousness can be understood through natural processes. No gods required. Evolution shows how complexity arises step by step. Physics shows how the universe expands from quantum fluctuations. There's beauty in that. We are the outcome of billions of years of cosmic trial and error, and that doesn't make us less. It makes our existence even more extraordinary. Darwin gave us a mechanism for life. Dawkins showed us how genes build survival machines, and Carl Sagan reminded us, we are made of star stuff. We don't need to invent a creator. We just need to keep exploring.
Two bold worldviews, one shaped by design, the other by discovery. Let's start where it all begins.
Every effect has a cause. The universe had a beginning. So what caused it? The cosmological argument says something cannot come from nothing. Even if you believe in the Big Bang, that still leaves the question, who lit the fuse? Philosophers like Leibniz asked, why is there something rather than nothing? The best answer is a necessary being, not dependent, not caused, but eternal. Even Stephen Hawking once said that understanding the laws of the universe is knowing the mind of God. The very existence of laws suggests a lawgiver. Something had to start everything, and that something is God.
We don't need to leap to God to explain the beginning. The universe may have come from a quantum fluctuation, a state of nothing that still obeys natural laws. The Hartle-Hawking model even proposes a universe without a true beginning. As for why is there something, that might be the wrong question. Not all whys have answers. Asking why the universe exists may be like asking why a mountain is tall. It just is, based on the conditions. And invoking God doesn't solve the problem. Who created God? If something eternal can exist, why not the universe? Science is working on these questions. Faith declares answers. But declaring isn't explaining.
Creation or coincidence? Lawgiver or law of nature? Let's keep going. Next up, design and complexity. Does life's elegance point to a creator or to natural evolution?
Complexity doesn't require a designer. It requires time and selection. Take the eye, often cited as too perfect to evolve. But we've found intermediate stages of eyes across species, light-sensitive patches, simple lenses, compound eyes. Natural selection explains how these structures evolved step by step. Richard Dawkins described this as the blind watchmaker. Evolution doesn't plan, but it refines relentlessly. Over time, what works survives. In 2004, a study published in Nature demonstrated how even a simple system can evolve into a complex one through incremental adaptations. Bacterial flagella, once thought to be irreducibly complex, have known evolutionary precursors. So the appearance of design is not proof of design. It's the illusion of purpose created by selection.
But illusion isn't explanation. Complexity on this scale doesn't just happen. DNA is a language, billions of bits of coded information. A single human cell is more intricate than a supercomputer. When we see information, we infer intelligence. Even atheist philosopher Anthony Flew changed his mind later in life, citing the almost unbelievable complexity of the arrangements needed to produce life. The fine-tuning of physical constants, the force of gravity, the charge of an electron, the cosmological constant, is another layer. If any of them varied by even a fraction, life as we know it couldn't exist. As Sir Fred Hoyle put it, it's like a tornado sweeping through a junkyard and assembling a Boeing 747. Randomness and time alone can't explain this. It suggests craftsmanship, intention.
Is design an illusion, or is nature a signature? Let's shift to the human side of belief. Next, why do we believe? Evolutionary bias, or something deeper?
Across cultures and history, humanity has almost always believed in something greater. That's not a coincidence. It's a clue. Philosophers like Immanuel Kant believed our moral intuition and sense of the sublime point to something beyond ourselves. Our longing for justice, beauty, eternity. These aren't just evolutionary flukes. They're echoes of a higher reality. C.S. Lewis said it well. Creatures are not born with desires unless satisfaction for those desires exists. If I find in myself a desire which no experience in this world can satisfy, the most probable explanation is that I was made for another world. And even the Templeton Foundation's 2020 Global Religious Futures Study found over 84% of the world population holds religious or spiritual beliefs, despite growing secular trends. Belief may not just be a psychological crutch. It might be spiritually hardwired.
But hardwired doesn't mean heaven sent. Cognitive science and evolutionary psychology offer powerful insights. Humans evolved to detect agency, even when it isn't there. Why? Because mistaking wind for a lion was safer than mistaking a lion for wind. Dr. Justin Barrett from Oxford, a cognitive psychologist and Christian himself, showed that children naturally infer purpose and intentionality, even in random events. That's called hyperactive agency detection. Belief helps with group cohesion, morality, and mental health, so it got reinforced over time. That doesn't mean it's true, it just means it helped us survive. In other words, religion evolved because it works, but so did other useful illusions.
Faith or function? Truth or adaptation? Let's take it higher. Topic 4 is next. Consciousness and the soul. Is the mind just the brain, or is there more?
Consciousness is a mystery, yes, but mystery isn't magic. Our thoughts, emotions, and self-awareness all correlate with brain activity. Damage the brain, and you change the person. That's strong evidence that mind arises from matter. Neuroscience shows this daily. A 2014 study in Nature reviews neuroscience mapped how different regions of the brain generate subjective experience, from memory to morality. When we sleep, take psychedelics, or suffer brain injury, our self can dissolve or distort. That implies consciousness is generated, not bestowed. Yes, we feel like we have souls, but feeling something doesn't prove it exists.
But reductionism has limits. You can describe the brain's chemistry, but you can't explain why it feels like something to be you. Thomas Nagel called this the hard problem of consciousness, why there's an inner life at all. Neurons firing doesn't explain awareness. A machine can process data. A soul experiences it. And there's growing research into near-death experiences. Some patients report vivid consciousness while clinically dead. One study from NYU Langone Health in 2022 found measurable brain activity and lucid awareness after heart stoppage in multiple patients. Even atheist philosopher David Chalmers admits consciousness may not be explainable with physical laws alone. If the mind is more than the brain, maybe we're more than bodies.
Matter or mystery, brain or being. Let's bring it home now, with what it all means. Next up, final topic, purpose and meaning. Created with intent or finding our own way.
If we're here by chance, then meaning is just something we make up. But if we're created, then we're part of a story far bigger than ourselves. Religious traditions across time, from Hinduism to Christianity to Sufism, have claimed that life has intrinsic meaning, that we're here with purpose, woven into the fabric of something eternal. Philosopher Alvin Plantinga argues that without God, even our ability to trust reason becomes questionable. After all, if we're just evolved primates, why assume our thoughts are trustworthy? Belief in God offers more than answers. It offers direction, a moral compass, a reason to strive, to love, to hope. Without that, meaning becomes fragile, personal, yes, but untethered.
But untethered doesn't mean meaningless. Existentialists like Jean-Paul Sartre and Simone de Beauvoir argued that we are free to create our own purpose. That's not bleak. It's liberating. It means meaning is something we shape, not something imposed. Studies show that people who don't believe in God still live purposeful lives. The Harvard Human Flourishing Program found that non-religious individuals often report just as much life satisfaction through relationships, creativity, curiosity, and compassion. We don't need a cosmic plan to live meaningful lives. We just need each other and the courage to care in a temporary world. Meaning isn't handed down, it's earned.
And there you have it. From DNA to divinity, consciousness to community, the question echoes louder than ever. Are we made, or did we make it up? Let's hear the final thoughts, closing statements from each debater. Riley, you're up first.
We may never have all the answers, but that's what makes the human journey so powerful. Science, philosophy, and personal reflection all point to one thing. We're capable of seeking truth, even in uncertainty. We've explored the origins of the universe, the complexity of life, the depths of consciousness, and none of it demands a divine author. That doesn't make life empty. It makes it ours. We are the storytellers of our own existence. Whether through love, knowledge, or creativity, we shape the meaning we seek. And in doing so, we prove that wonder doesn't require belief, just courage.
Thank you, Riley. Now let's hear from Julian, with the final closing statement.
While we may strive to understand the vastness of our existence, the simplest truth remains. We are not alone in this journey. The very complexity and beauty of life point to something greater than ourselves. Science tells us much about the mechanisms that sustain life, but it cannot explain why it exists in the first place. The fine-tuning of the universe, the intricacy of DNA, and the very nature of consciousness all hint at a designer, a force beyond what we can fully comprehend. Without purpose, without higher meaning, we are left adrift. But with a creator, we are part of something vast and eternal. Our lives are not just an accident of the cosmos. They are part of a divine plan, filled with meaning, direction, and love.
A thought-provoking conclusion, Julian. And with that, we reach the end of today's debate. Is God real? Creation or evolution? We've explored science, philosophy, and faith. Now, the choice is yours. What do you believe? Be sure to comment below with your thoughts, like, and subscribe for more thought-provoking debates. This is Alice, signing off from AI versus AI, where the deepest questions are answered and the debate never ends.